Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Happy Productive Podcast. I am here today with Dr. Linette. She is a top tier strategic profitability partner specializing in scaling the authority, profitability, and legacy of underrepresented CEOs, leaders, and entrepreneurs. Mostly, I'm just super excited today, y'all, because we get to talk about money. We're going to have a whole lot of money talk today. Dr. Linette, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. I am super excited to talk about money. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. Before we jump in, would you mind just sharing with everybody a little bit about your story and where did you come from and how did you get to the place today where you're doing this work?
Oh boy. Whenever someone asks this question, I'm always thinking, how do you wrap
Yeah.
40 years of entrepreneurship into a quick statement, right? And so the things that I think are really, really important to talk about is the 40 years, is the fact that I have been a consultant for local business, for corporations, small business, large businesses, organizations like Marriott and Avis, names we know, and so many entrepreneurial names we don't know. But I think the biggest part of my story is the fact that I really came from meager means. I was bullied as a kid. I was hushed as an adult. I was shushed in a white male dominated industry of operations, right? We
Hmm.
were not to be heard. We were
Yeah.
still sent to get coffee,
Yeah.
even though I was the smartest person in the room, even though I had the answers to their problems, the solution. I was
Yeah.
still overlooked repeatedly. And so I realized over the years that no matter how smart we are, no matter whether we come with the answers, no matter whether we have been in the industry for decades, we still had so much to prove. We still had so much that needed to be changed in the space of women in particular, and then also women of color. So
Hmm.
over the years, that's how I got here, is really understanding that it is time for us to shed the shoulds and redefine what success looks like for us, not for them, right? They convinced us to put on that Superwoman cape, and I'm
Yeah.
here to tell you that we have the right to take it off. So that's it for me.
Oh, I love that so much. And it's very interesting to me because my first company was in software, which has been a very male dominated industry. And I just want to say, men, I love y'all. Like, I'm not bashing men in any way. I love y'all. I do. I do. I'm married to one. I love them. And my corporate stint was in the car wash industry. Again, entirely male dominated industry. And I was the only senior female executive in the big room. And yes, you do have to show up, you do have to prove yourself, but in some way, I'm so grateful for it because we had to be sharper. We had to be smarter. We had to learn more quickly. I think it made us a little tougher. Like all of those benefits that you get from when you go through something that's hard. And if you go into it at least with the right mindset and you grow and you learn from it. So in many ways, yes, it was hard, but I'm also very grateful because we had to perform in a different way. We had to be better in order to succeed in these environments.
Yes, yes, that's a true statement. And can I tell a story?
You can.
This is a really interesting situation because I think it speaks so much to what we're talking about right now and leads to that money conversation. That whole thing about needing to be smarter, right? Needing to show up. Two things I've noticed is I've been doing some pods and some voluntary coaching for small business owners, for women who are at the building stage, the dreamer stage,
Yeah.
and I consider that to be under six figures, maybe up to 250,000, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And what I noticed, Jennifer, that is so interesting is we tend to want to be I'm not necessarily diplomatic, Jennifer. So your audience just needs to hold on to their hats because I my
They
coaches
can
say,
handle it. It's all
right,
good.
my
Trust me.
coaches say I tell it like it is, no chaser, right? And so
Yeah.
we have to stop needing to be coddled.
Yeah.
We have to develop thicker skin,
Yeah.
because when you are being coached or consulted or guided or mentored or whatever that looks like for you, and someone who's been there, been in the trenches, we are really about business. We're trying to tell you the solutions. We want to give it to you so you can go and implement and come back, and we can tweak and we can keep implementing and tweaking, right? But if we have to stop and sugarcoat, if we have to stop and make it palatable to you, and I'm saying this because coming from a male dominated industry, you understand what I mean. They don't have time for that.
Mm-mm.
Men want you to give it to them straight, quickly, and move on. They
Yeah.
don't want the fluff. They don't
Hmm.
want the extra hand holding. They just want to know you say you're an expert, you have a solution, hand it to me, let's do this. And I
Hmm.
just noticed with women that we just keep needing, if I say it too straight, if I say it too direct, then I'm being harsh or I'm being mean or it didn't feel good. We
Yeah.
really have to stop that because
Yeah.
I believe it's the reason so many women aren't making it past that $1 million mark. Most of
Mhm.
my target market is after the million, because
Yeah.
that's where I see all of the real challenges coming, right? Is when they need
Yeah.
to step into that true CEO role. And between 1 and 3 million, they're getting stuck right there. And a lot of it, oh, and I know you're going to agree with this because I saw it on your website. A lot of it is all about mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scaling and
Yeah.
profitability is not really about numbers, it's
Right.
about mindset.
Yep. Yep. It is 100% agree. And it's interesting to me because I think the last stat I saw was that it's like 4 or 5% of all businesses ever cross the $1 million mark. I mean, it's significant. Less, I think it's only like, it's like 4 or 5% ever cross the $1 million mark. And then it's like 2% of those are women owned businesses. So we're talking about a vast majority of women owned businesses that never cross that mark. And so the skill set that you need to get that business off the ground and then to cross that 7 figures, because then once you cross that, you need a whole different skill set. Once you get to the first million, like to make the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth, it's a whole different skill set. And I think that there's absolutely some resilience, toughness. But I've struggled with this too a little bit, where I can be direct. I can always be kind. That's super important to me, to always be kind. But I still have a spine. I'm here to lead. My job is to run this company. Like I am the speaker. I am the voice of the company. And that's really my first obligation is to the company because everybody is under my care. But it doesn't mean, and I'm going to use the B word, but it doesn't mean that we have to be a bitch. And I know that that word often gets put on us. And so to keep us in our place, because it feels bad, it feels shaming. And I know there's a lot of people who like own it and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like it's my job to be direct. It's my job to be kind. It's my job to be a leader, to run this business. If people want to label me, whatever they label me, that's okay. But like I don't have to be a bitch about it. I really don't. If that makes any sense at all,
Wow.
of just like really stepping into your power, because there's something so beautiful about a powerful woman who knows what she wants, who can ask for it, who can take action to get it, and actually doesn't have to be mean to other people, who doesn't have to step on other people, doesn't have to do some of those other kinds of behaviors to actually get what she wants.
Yes. Yes. And I don't know if I'm not even sure if it's still there. It probably is on my LinkedIn profile. I talk a lot about feminine leadership,
Mhm.
right? Because we all have feminine energy and masculine energy. Some people don't understand that we have both.
Yeah.
And I am a huge advocate for leading from our feminine energy, which is really challenging because for so many years, 30, I had to lead from my masculine energy
Yeah.
because the world convinced us that we had to be a certain way in order to do business in a man's world. And it's
Right.
not true.
Mm-mm.
I agree with you. I've always maintained my kind, and I've also been run over
Yeah.
a lot because of the kind. That old phrase, people mistake your kindness for weakness, I have
Yeah.
found to be the case over and
Yeah.
over and over. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, why do we have to show up unkind in order to be taken seriously? So I thought, well, since I am kind, I've always been kind. I've always, as I said, as a child, I was bullied. That's one of the reasons I was bullied, because I was really smart and because I was so kind.
Yeah.
And so I thought in this male world, well, if I get more education, then they would have to listen to me, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
because the bachelor's degree wasn't enough. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'll get more education, they'll listen. And I was really busy. And so I was like, okay, I'll get a master's degree. Then they'll listen.
Yeah.
That did not work, Jennifer. They did not care that I had a master's degree. It didn't overcome my gender or my skin color. It wasn't
Yeah.
enough. And so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, one tidbit that a lot of people don't know about me is I've raised 2 biological children and 12 therapeutic foster care children.
Wow.
So I was super busy, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I got to try to figure out how I'm going to get more education and run this business and manage all these kids. And I was the
Yeah.
mom, the team mom, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I got another master's degree. I'm thinking, well,
Wow.
if I have 2 master's degrees, they'll
Right.
listen because I had more education now than most people in the room. Jennifer, it didn't matter. They
Yeah.
still didn't listen. I was still looked at to go get the coffee or to create the agenda for the meetings, things that admin would do.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a PhD. I'm going to get a PhD because they'll listen if I get a PhD.
Yeah.
Jennifer, I got a PhD. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It still didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute, how is this possible? They don't, most of them don't have a master's. I have 2
And
and
a
a
PhD.
PhD. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know what? Because now it turns into I'm still gonna show them, right? This is
Right.
the child who was bullied and hushed now showing up, right? And so this really all goes to mindset. I want you guys to follow because a lot of what I'm talking about, yes, it's what the industry I felt was pulling me to do, but it's also really based on trauma. It's really based on things that I hadn't resolved
Yep.
in me. And I know that we're going to talk about so many things and we're going to talk about money, but if you guys don't understand what we're talking about right now, you're not going to get to the money. You're not going to keep the money because a lot of what happens in profitability and making the money, money is everywhere. There's plenty of it. If you don't heal, if you
Mhm.
don't heal, you're not going to make the money. You're not going to keep the money, right? So I'm
Yeah.
thinking, have this PhD. Good. I'm good now.
Yep.
Still didn't work. So now I'm in the mode of I'm going to show them. Now I'm not thinking that's what I'm doing, but that is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I see
Right.
the same thing happening on social media when people are choosing to do and say certain things on social media. I see the same thing in marketing strategies where this person is marketing like this. So let me do that too. All of this is tied together,
Yeah.
right? We have
Yeah.
mindset work to do. And so my lifelong dream since I was 7 was to be an attorney. I've always wanted to be an attorney. I just got busy raising other people's kids. So that was more important to me, right?
Yeah.
And so, no, I decided in, let's see, I graduated in 2019. So I decided in 20, I think 16 or so, my children were all adults. all of the kids were gone, I went to law school. I said,
Wow.
now I know that this is going to work. So here's the interesting thing. All those degrees up until that point, and the only one that they stopped and paid attention to was the law degree. I don't have
Interesting.
an answer for why that is. I sort of
Mhm.
think it's weird because that's just one degree compared to two masters and a PhD, right? But it's
Yeah.
something about that law degree in a man's world
Mhm.
that makes that mean something.
Mhm.
And so, yes, it did get them to listen, it did get them to pay attention. But what I realized is that all the success I had, all the degrees, all the accolades, all the awards, all the nominations, all that. And I woke up one day, Jennifer, and I realized that I was not happy,
Mhm.
I was not healthy.
Mhm.
And according to the world standards, I wasn't wealthy either. So now we have a problem, right? Because I did all that for 30 years to try to accomplish what the world saw as success. For what? Right? For what? And I know you love that healthy topic. I saw that. So I'm like, that's why I talk about as women, we can be happy, healthy, and wealthy. Superwoman cape no longer desired.
Mhm.
So now that we've set that stage, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody
Yeah.
wants to talk about this stuff. They want to
Yeah.
talk about the money, 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 money.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
don't heal,
That's right.
if you don't do the work to heal,
Yep.
if you don't understand that it's all mindset,
Yep.
right? We don't mean this is not about woo woo, and this is
Mm-mm.
about pure mental health,
Yes.
self confidence, self love,
Mhm.
knowing your worth, and your worth is not outside of you, it's in you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now when we talk about this money,
Yep.
it has somewhere to land, because
Right.
otherwise you're just going to start looking at tactics,
Yep.
and
That's it.
tactics don't last, strategies last. And the
Yeah.
truth is, strategies, you've been in this game a long time, the strategies really don't change. Scaling is scaling.
That's
They've
right.
confused you, right? They've confused you into thinking that
Yeah.
scaling is all these different things. Scaling is scaling.
That's right.
Everything
That's
else
right.
is tactics.
Yeah.
So now that I just totally shook up the whole show.
I
Let's talk
know, which
money.
I'm so grateful that you did. I'm like, Dr. Lynette, she's my new best friend. I love this because you are talking the talk like that. This is it. And you're on it. And if you're listening and you're like, oh, I'm getting out of here, they're not going to tell me how to get rich. You need to stay here and you need to keep listening to this conversation because this is where it starts. And so often we try to solve, let's say, a money problem. We try to solve a money problem with thinking our way out of it and working harder. So we've got this money problem. We're going to think, think, think. We're going to work, work, work. And then we burn ourselves out. We might solve it temporarily, but we don't really solve it permanently. The problem, though, is that we're trying to solve a problem. It's a feeling problem, it's an emotion problem, it's a heart problem. And we can't solve the problem if we don't look in the right place. And the right place is within ourselves. That's always where it starts. Always. It always starts within us. And if we don't take ownership of that, we're not going anywhere. If we're too busy blaming all these other things and our little fingers are pointing at everybody else, and it's, I didn't get what I needed from mommy and daddy, and my employee stole this, and whoever did that, and we're blaming everybody else, we will not solve the problem with any amount of tactical action. But if we look inside ourselves and we say, hey, you know what? I'm in this relationship. My money's not where I want it to be, and it's on me. And now I've taken ownership and I start to look inside. That's truly the first step. That's how you solve your money problem is you own it and you look inside yourself. Like 100%. Like this is all the coaching we do. I call it inside out results because if you really want results in your business, you've got to start from the inside and work your way out. So you are on it. You are on my topic. Like 100%. And I think people often don't want to hear that, or at least I've seen with clients, sometimes that's a struggle for them to say, but this so and so, they did whatever to me in my business, or my employee, like they took advantage of me. And I have had all that happen. But if you stay in that loop of blaming outside factors, you just will never really break free of it. The only way you break free of it is to stop and be like, all right, what part did I play in this? What do I own about this? What can I change about this? That's it. Like that's where it starts.
Yeah, yeah. And the same is true with the company. For
Mhm.
years, we've heard people, they bring us in, they want us to fix it. Right?
Yeah.
And I know you get this, right? It's like,
Oh,
I just need you to come in and fix it. And most often it's fix them.
yeah.
They want to blame the staff, the team. It's always the team, and it's rarely them, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the company as a whole, I always say the fix starts on the inside of your company first, not the outside.
Yeah.
And I believe that processes and systems are important. People, your team, they're all important. But at the end of the day, for me, the most important part, and so if you want to know my golden nugget secret for profitability, I'm getting ready to give it to you. So if you guys have been sitting here like, are they going to get to the money, or are they going to get to the money? Here we are.
Yeah.
This is where the money is. The money is in customer experience, period, hands down. It's customer experience.
Yeah.
And
It
your
is.
customer is two people. It's your internal customer, and that's your team, and it's your external customer, and those are the people who pay for your products and services. Period, hands down. If we never had ads, if we never had social media, which I'm old enough that we didn't have any of this. So if we never had these things, delivering an amazing product and service with exceptional care is going to always keep your pipeline full. It's word of mouth. If you love it, you're going to tell everyone about it. If you hate it, you're going to tell everyone about it.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
if you're looking at, especially once you get past that $1 million mark, the
Mhm.
thing to focus on, other than yourself, we have that clear, is how are you delivering your services? Are you exceeding customer expectation consistently?
Yes.
Not only when you make a mistake, or not only when they're a little ruffled feathers, so you now want to give them something extra to hush them. No,
Mhm.
you need to do it consistently all the time. It's a strategy. Like you
Yeah.
literally sit down and you create a customer experience journey, not just a customer journey,
Yeah.
a customer experience journey, a delight journey, a wow journey. Call it whatever you like. They need to be wowed every single time that they experience your business, from the email, the text message, the social media post, the stage presence, the product showing up in the mail, the digital download. It doesn't matter. You want to deliver love
Yeah.
and care every single time. Is it going to be perfect every time? Of course not. None of
Yeah.
us are perfect. We all fall short. However, if you are intentional with crafting a
Yes.
wow experience, it's like putting money in the bank. If you make a mistake, you have plenty of money in there to cover that mistake. And that's how your customers feel, right? They
Mhm.
don't get upset over mistakes unless you haven't been delivering well all along, and now that mistake broke the camel's back. So that's the secret for me. That's what I
Yeah.
look at when someone calls me in to do any kind of work. When someone contacts us and they're interested in us investing in their company, I'm going straight to the customer experience, because it tells me everything I ever need to know about where your company is, where it's been, and where it's going if you don't have some outside help. What do you think about customer experience?
Yeah, I agree completely. And I'm even going to take it a little step past that, which is the guarantees. I've seen so much of this going on in the coaching industry right now, where so many coaches have gone to these, high ticket programs, group programs, 60-day, 90-day. They're charging a lot of money. And then they create these guarantees. And the guarantees are often written and they're bullshit. They're total bullshit. And if you're listening to this and you're considering a high ticket program, I want you to stop and I want you to read that guarantee. My husband's going through this right now. I've been through this a few times where the way that they write these guarantees, they're written in such a way that it makes it sound like, if it doesn't work, you'll get your money back, but they're not giving your money back. And then they, fall upon the, oh, well, you didn't do all this stuff that's in the guarantee. And it's so unethical. And if you're going to do business with a company, because this is exactly what's happening. My husband, he signed up for this program. It really wasn't a good fit for him. He was supposed to have a year. Then he asked for his money back. And they're like, oh, no, no, you had 72 hours to ask for your money back, which is not an amount of time that you can take to go through a program and really evaluate it at all. So, of course, they're not giving his money back. And so, what's happened, and it's less about the money, it's more about integrity. And now what is he doing? He's out there like he's going to leave bad reviews. He's going to tell every single person, stay away from this company. And he's actually looking into filing a claim with the Federal Trade Commission on false advertising. And I don't know about you, but I don't want my business on the FTC's radar of like false advertising. So it's just, it creates this just yucky. It's not love. It's not honor. It's not ethical. So 100% create this wow experience. And if you have a client who isn't like, it's not a good fit for them, like don't make a guarantee that you're not going to honor it. If you can't honor it, don't make the guarantee. And if you do make a guarantee and somebody says, hey, I want my money back, then give them their money back. Like that goes so far of just being honorable and ethical. And now we can say, hey, it just didn't work. And you, even when you talk about this company to other people, you might say, hey, it wasn't a great fit for me, but they gave my money back when it wasn't, it wasn't a fit for me. And so they did what they said. And so it just, again, keeps a good positive vibe going around your company, because what you said, it's right. If you love it, you're going to tell people. And if you hate it, you're probably going to tell 10 times more people when you hate what a company did. And I ranted a little bit there because I don't, the coaching industry, it starts to kind of make the whole thing feel a little yucky because of what so many people or so many of them are doing, even when there's so many honorable and ethical coaches, consultants out there. So just, it's about creating that whole experience, but bringing integrity into it as well, and doing business with people who have integrity. I think it just goes so far.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that because that is so true. And the tricky one is that you can get your money back provided that you've done all the things in the program, right?
Yeah.
And so you
Yeah.
have to send them the sheets and stuff that you filled out and that
Yeah.
you've done to show that you've completed the steps. All of that, yeah. It gets to be a lot. It gets to
Yeah.
be a lot. So
Yeah.
what money shakeup do we want to talk about now?
Oh, let's talk about money. Okay, so like when somebody, I know there's going to be people right now who are listening and there's like, I just need more money. I need more money in my business, right? And especially as you're growing and scaling a company, cash flow can be very, very tight. You're investing in the growth of your company. So talk to us a little bit about just like what are some of the steps or the keys that when somebody is trying to scale and they're having some cash flow issues, like what can they do to help to to bring in more of that money?
Yeah. So, of course, I'm going to bring a twist to that question too. So,
Hmm.
interestingly enough, I really strongly believe and have found that people have so much money trapped inside their company
Hmm.
that if they are really having some cash flow challenges, and even if they're not, one of the first things that I do with any new client is a profit leaks audit, but they
Hmm.
can do that themselves. There's so much money being left on the table. People use that phrase, And they're really usually talking about external money. And I totally agree with that. So we're going to talk about that in a second, is the money
Mhm.
you're leaving on the table externally. But there's so much money that you're leaving on the table inside your business.
Yeah.
There's money that is trapped in there. There's missed opportunities within your business that you can be working on. And I'll give you a great example. One of my number one pet peeves is follow up.
Mm.
When they
Yeah.
say the money is in the follow up, that is the truth. And now it's even worse, it's even stronger. And so people usually don't follow up at all, or they follow up maybe once or twice, and then they get frustrated or they get busy or whatever the case may be, because again, it happens to all of us. But the
Mhm.
truth is, it may take you 7 to 10 times of following up before that person is not just a looker or an explorer, but they're actually in the position now that they want to buy. And so when we talk about revenue and needing more money, the other thing is so many people are paying for tools that they either aren't using, or they're paying for too much of a tool because someone told them, oh, don't get me now, you people. Somebody told them they needed Infusionsoft. So they went out and they got it. And
Yeah.
at $250 a month, when you have zero income, that doesn't make sense, right? You
Mm-mm.
need to make sense of what you are spending. And
Yeah.
so tools, they have tools that are overlapping. There are so many areas within the business that you can really find money or set some money free so
Mhm.
that you don't feel the crunch of
Yeah.
what you're talking about when cash flow is tight. Just because she has it doesn't mean you need it,
Right. Oh,
right?
oh, 100%. We do a similar exercise called our cash flow quick fix
Okay.
with our clients. And you're right. And it's the same concept of inside out here because the money is inside your business. I love the way that you said that, that it's trapped in there. And that low hanging fruit of I'm paying too much for this subscription, or I don't use that. Going through, just look at all of the money as it's flowing out of your business. Just every single dollar that's flowing out, put a magnifying glass on it. Do you really need it? If you do, great. But if you don't, get rid of it. And that's going to put more cash on your bottom line immediately. And then the second part of that is labor. Labor can be that black hole, black hole in a company. How efficient are the people that you're paying? I actually have explained this to my team multiple times that as a company, we pay for work to be done. So we pay for an hour of work to be done. If the work doesn't get done in that hour, now we have to pay for a second hour or a third hour. So when you look at your labor costs, if it's taking people 2 or 3 or 4 times longer to do something that you've paid to be done, like your labor costs are just, that's where it is. It's like stuck in this black hole of labor. So auditing your employees' efficiency, it's kind of that like unseen profitability. It's there, but it's your money just going down the toilet
Yeah.
when all your people are not as efficient as they can be.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, you hire someone who is $7 an hour because you think $35 an hour is too much. But to
Yeah.
your point, right? The $7 an hour person is taking 10 hours to do the task when the
Yeah.
$35 an hour person could get it done in an hour. And
Yeah.
so, right, we don't think about that. And we also don't think about our time. If you charge $250, let's just say an hour, or for that thing that you do, right? Well, isn't it worth paying someone $35 to do what is going to take you an hour to do so that you can go and get another client? We hear this
Yes.
all the time. People say it, but it's not sinking in somehow. Why do you think that is? And now that we're talking about it, like we've heard this for years, but why do you think it's not actually registering with people, and they just keep trying to pay low level people over and over and over again, or they keep trying to do it themselves over and over and over again?
Yeah, I think it goes to a couple things. One, core beliefs, that you've got some sort of a belief system going on there that you probably need to work on a little bit around money or scarcity, or thinking maybe, I hear this a lot, I can't afford a higher level person. And I'm going to go back to, I think you can't afford not to have a higher level person when it's appropriate. I think the other thing that I see, at least, Lynette, is the stage of business, knowing what stage of business you're in. Because I see startups, like, you don't have income yet and you're hiring a fleet of people. What are you doing? Like, you got to get this idea off the ground. You got to prove it. You need to go get clients. You need to get revenue in. Like, I don't want to see you hiring anybody until you've like hit six figures. Like, you can hit six figures all by yourself. And I think that sometimes they listen to podcasts and they think, oh my gosh, like I need to have an assistant and things like this. And so you don't even have income yet. So knowing the stage of business that you're in, of when it is appropriate to do these things. So don't get upside down. If you don't have clients and enough revenue, don't be then giving all your money away to other people. Once you've got the clients and the revenue, now you can afford to hire an assistant and then just kind of go from there. At least those are the two things that I see the most, I think, around this, of just not doing it in the right way at the right time.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's such an epidemic going on out there of hiring, 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 hiring. So true. And then I
Yeah.
promised that we would talk about the external money, because no,
Yeah.
we're talking about stuff today, Jennifer, that they don't really want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear the easy button, and they
Yeah.
think that the
Yeah.
easy button is outside of them and outside of their business, when really
Yeah.
it's inside of them and it's
It's
really
insane.
inside of their business, right?
Yeah.
So let's give
Yeah.
them what they came for.
All right. Let's give them an easy button, Lynette.
Give them some easy stuff. One of the things that I say all the time about the external money, that concept of you're leaving money on the table, is I see too many people doing what I call going wide instead of going deep.
Mm,
And so you have this amazing product or service, and it's selling well, and at whatever stage you're at, because you are so right about the different stages, right? You're at $1 million, you're excited, everything is going great, and so now somebody has convinced you, i.e. the world, that you need to now go and add another business or add another revenue stream, because after all, we need seven of them.
mhm,
And what they have forgotten to share with you is, you really want to milk that one thing for every dollar, every angle, every avenue, everything you can possibly get out of it, which is going deep,
mhm,
before you go wide and you start adding more products, adding more services, getting more businesses. Because once you do that, so if you go deep, you already have all the marketing, right? You already have all the language. You already have everything. You're
mhm,
just going deep. You're saying, oh, well, I have this great book. And so now I'm going to turn this book into a webinar. Okay, well, they didn't get enough information from the webinar. So now I'm going to turn this into a 6-week course,
mhm,
masterclass, right? Okay,
mhm,
great. But they still need help. And so now I'm going to turn that masterclass into a 6-month group coaching program. Awesome. Okay, but guess what? Some people still need more help. Group coaching isn't enough for them. So now they're going to turn this group coaching program into a year-long mastermind. Awesome. Well, but then you still have people who need, they think their business is different. So
Oh, yeah.
this our famous statement, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they need more help. And so now you have one-on-one coaching. You've taken that one thing. Now, how about if you create some t-shirts and create a journal and you have so much that you can do
Yeah.
with the one thing that's doing well,
Yes. I love this.
instead of going and now trying to make something new, because now you need more graphics and you need a message and you need a marketing it baffles me, but this is what the world is teaching everyone. So when you think about 7 streams of income, think about the fact that I probably just gave you 7 right there, just as I was
Mhm,
rambling, right?
Right.
You can have 7 streams of income
From
within the
one.
same
Yeah.
vertical. You
Right.
don't
Right. No.
have 7 different things going on, like
Yeah.
an octopus trying to juggle all this stuff. And that's where the
Right.
burnout comes in. You're
Yeah.
juggling a bunch of stuff, and it doesn't have to be that hard.
Yeah, agree. I just agree. I made this mistake, and I had a coach who set me right when he's like, "Jennifer, there's way too much complexity in your business for where it's at." And I was like, "He's right. Oh my goodness." And you know what it was? That he pointed me back to the inside, and I had to do some inside work, and I realized I was going in too many different directions because for me it was an issue of safety. I wanted to feel safe, so I was building all these things all around me, and once I did the healing work on that, then I could see it. I was like, oh my goodness, now I really see it is too much complexity. And I streamlined and I was so much happier for it. But again, it started on the inside, even though we're trying to do things on the outside. So, love that so, so much. Go deep, not wide, because you just rambled off exactly how you can have those streams of income, but from one thing, one offer.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, love it so much. Lynette, I could sit and I could talk to you all day about money because I love it, love it, love it. And we're so on the same page. And I really hope those of you listening really are starting to kind of get like, wow, okay, wait, there's something bigger going on here. And it's not just about the tactical things, but when you do the inner work and then you pair it with the outside tactical action, now we're talking. So even like a tactical thing that maybe you've tried in the past and like, oh, that didn't work for me, well, do the inner work first, and then you could always revisit it because I see so many times that it's like, oh, it didn't work before, but now it actually is working because we're in a better place, a different place to really take better advantage of it. So awesome. Wonderful. Lynette, tell everybody where they can find you because I know they're going to want to know where can I find this fabulous woman?
Well, thank you for the question. Easy. Just Google me. Linette Montae. You'll be able to find everywhere that I am. And my website, linettemontae.com, is where I keep all the things that I'm up to as updated as possible.
Nice. Dr. Lynette, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. Great conversation. I know so many things that people are going to get from this. And my hope is that you guys take this information and you do the inner work. And if you're like, okay, I want to do the inner work, but I really don't know where to start, reach out to Dr. Lynette, reach out to us at jenniferdawncoaching.com. We've got your back. We are here to help you. That is it for today's show. Thank you guys for being here with me. Get out there and have a happy, productive day, y'all.
Bye bye.